So far in this series, we have learned about directory-based and disk-based VM storage pools. Prior to me mentioning it in the last video, did you know there were file system-based storage pools? I didn't until a few weeks ago, but I wasn't surprised. This is B from Tate Talk Tech, and welcome to part 4 of my VM storage management series, where I will be covering creating file system-based VM storage pools. Stick with me. Before I get into that though, I've got a favor to ask. If you like this type of video and want to see more content like this, please make sure you are subscribed and hit the bell button for notifications. Also, don't forget to give this video a like if you like it, give it a dislike if you don't like it. Lastly, let me know what you liked, didn't like, or if you have any comments, questions, concerns, or last but not least, emotional outbursts down in the comments below. Let's go ahead and get into it. So, when we're talking about creating a file system based storage pool, is what's going to happen is it's going to create a pool on an unmounted disk or partition that has a file system on it. You will need to make sure to create a partition on a disk as well as making a file system. And file system is really just a means of ordering a system of files, some kind of structure that holds the whole thing together and organizes it and things like that. That's probably something I'll do a video on in the future, so make sure you subscribe for that. In order to accomplish these tasks, you can use tools such as fdisk, gdisk, or parted, just to name a few, and that will actually be to partition the disk. And then you can use what is known as the makefs command, which will allow you to actually put a file system on it. And if you're not familiar, the Linux file system is at least the standard one on a lot of distributions, ext4, and that's how the file system is structured and organized and stuff like that. So that's another example of what an example is of what we're talking about when we mean file system. Now, one of the things you'll want to make sure is when setting the file system on this disk or partition is you want to make sure that this is a Linux file system, such as ext4. And NTFS will not work. All right, so let's go ahead and switch over to the desktop. All right, so the first thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to go and do sudo fdisk, and then we're going to do dev sda. All right, because that's the disk that we want to use to create our partition and put our file system on it. All right, and let's go and put our password in. Getting some extras today. We're not only going to be doing the fdisk utility, but we're also going to be doing the makefs command, and both of those I do plan on doing videos on in the future, as well as the gdisk, and I'm not really sure on parted. It's not one that I'm really familiar with, but maybe I'll fill up to it and we'll do it. So we'll see. All right, so yeah, that's what we're doing. What we're doing here is we're gonna first check and see. Let's go ahead and see if there's any partitions. Just the one. All right, cool. All right, so let's go ahead and do new. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead or in for new, and then we're gonna hit P for primary partition, and we'll go ahead and just hit enter for default. And anytime when you're going through this these questions, if you just hit enter, it'll go ahead and set whatever the default that's listed there. And then we're going to go ahead and set the first sector. We're good with that. Let's go ahead and just we'll add the same thing I added in the last video with 25 gigs. Let's go ahead and hit enter. And all right, it's going to say created a new partition type of Linux, and size is 25 gigabytes, contains an ext4 signature. Do you want to remove that signature? We're going to go ahead and put yes. All right, cool. So it's got that. Now let's hit W to write it to the disk, and voila. Now if we do sudo fdisk -l/dev sda, and we can see our partition right there. Cool stuff, right? Now we need to go ahead and put the file system on it, which is pretty easy as well. We're going to do sudo makefs, we're going to do tact ext4, and we're going to do dev sda1. All right, perfect. There we go. And we've got it on there. Cool. Awesome stuff. All right, so now the next thing that we need to do is we need to go ahead and actually create the pool. So what we're going to do is we're going to do sudo virsh pool define as, and we're going to call it, give it a name. We're going to call it pool fs, and then we're going to go ahead and set the type, which is fs. And we're going to go ahead and set the source device, which is going to be tac dev sda1, And then we're going to go ahead and set a target. What did I call it? Pool. I believe I already created the mount point for it. So yeah, let's go ahead and go over this command. So what we're doing is we're going ahead and creating the pool with the pool define as. We're creating a pool named poolfs. We're using the fs based pool. That's what we're creating. And then we're doing source device, and I gotta go back here. Got a little ahead of myself. Source device, we're going to set that as dev /SDA, which is that partition we just created, and we're going to go ahead and mount that at var libbert pool fs. And I highly encourage you to create a mount point before you do this, just because it will make it so much easier. All right, let's go ahead and enter. Perfect, and we've got the pool defined. Now this is one of those pools that you're gonna have to build to go ahead and get that mount point there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do sudo versh pool build pool fs. Perfect, and it's built now. So now we have that mounted, that directory and that mount there. So that's awesome. Now let's go and do sudo versh pool start. We gotta make sure to start it because it's persistent. We're gonna do pool fs. There we go, we've got it started. Now let's go ahead and create ourselves a volume. So we're gonna do sudo versh vol create as, and then we're gonna do pool, and we're gonna do pool, pool, and we're gonna do pool fs. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to give it a name. We're going to call it vol fs. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and give it a capacity. We're going to give it 2 gigabytes. And then we're going to go ahead and give it a format. We're going to do qcow2. All right, so what's happening here is we're creating a volume. We're using the pool fs pool. We're naming it vol fs. We're giving it a capacity of 2 gigs. That's the G's for. Keep in mind you can use K for kilobytes, M for megabytes, G for gigabytes, T for terabytes, P for petabytes, and then the format is going to be qcow2. Let's go ahead and enter, and the volume has been created. So let's go ahead and check. Let's go ahead and check on both our volumes and our pool. So let's do pool list, and we can see right there that we've got our file system based pool that we created. And then if we do a sudo versh vol list pool fs, and then do that one, there we go. And I forgot to get rid of this one. It automatically creates that lost and found when you create the directory, and I forgot to delete that, so that's not something that I actually manually created as a volume, but it is there. And then here is our volume right there. Pretty awesome, right? Now let's go ahead and get rid of the volume. So we're going to do sudo versh vol delete, and we're going to do pool. You always got to make sure you specify the pool when deleting a volume, pool fs, and we're going to do vol fs. Awesome sauce. Let's go ahead and shut down the pool with the most fun pool command, which is pool destroy. Makes me feel like Godzilla just smashing through Tokyo. All right, that's sudo versh pool destroy, and then we're going to go ahead and do pool fs. We're going to hit enter, and that's going to destroy the pool. We're going to do sudo versh pool undefine, which is going to go ahead and delete the pool. Awesome. If we just do a sudo versh pool list all, it is gonzo. Awesome. Well, today not only did you learn there were file system based VM storage pools, but also how to create them. Don't forget to check out the rest of the videos in my Linux virtualization series. If you're caught up, check out this other video instead. Lastly, thank you so much for watching my video, and have the greatest of days.